Welcome to day 3 of Stronger to the Core. All right, I hope you've been practicing your drawing in and up maneuver using your pearls or whatever helps you visualize scooping inward and upward, not sucking in or holding your breath, but activating deep core muscles all the way up to help stabilize. And then you've been practicing your posture with your good alignment. So that will make these 2 exercises that I'm going to teach you today super simple. The first one we're going to do is the bird dog. So this bird dog is a yoga posture, and it's a quadruped position starting, which means we're on all fours. When we're on all fours in this way, and if you have wrist issues, this drawing in, activating the core will help so much because we're not putting a lot of pressure on our hands unless we don't have our core on. If our core is not on, then our hands are having to push and hold us up. But now if you are practicing that drawing in maneuver and you're zipping all the way up, you can be just on fingers because your core is holding you. That's what's so amazing. And the next progression of being able to balance is what will come so naturally. So if you are struggling with this one, it's because our first baseline core zip up isn't active. So let's be in this position here. We're going to zip up. We're going to draw in from our sphincter and activate the booty, the deep pelvic floor muscles, drawing up all the way up to the sternum. And you can even draw this in. I love to connect it to the crown of my head so everything's in alignment. Once that's in alignment, it's almost natural to be able to extend the one arm. So we're going to do right arm, left leg, and extend it completely out as we hold. So you'll notice if you've got your strong activation of your core, then there's not a lot of buckling going on at all. And that's mostly what I see when people do this without activating their core, is that I'll see buckling, or people will say their wrists hurt. So all of that will get eliminated once you completely activate your core. So before we start the other side, come back to your body, come back to that deep activation, zipping up, wrapping and hugging those muscles deep inside the core. And then it should feel very effortless to extend the leg, opposite arm, opposite leg. Doesn't matter which one you decide to do, but you'll do opposite arm, opposite leg. We're not doing same side. We're doing just opposite right now. And this motion, I'd love for you to be able to repeat this 8 to 10 times on each side with impeccable, zipped up, activated core and alignment. Remember, we're going to go back to those principles. Activation and alignment are the key to every movement you do if you want to do it correctly and not wear out those joints. In fact, I hear this all the time when folks really get this, that the wrists that used to hurt all the time when they would do yoga no longer hurt because the wrists are not having to make up for the work that the core is not doing. Okay, and so we remember that the booty's on, even in holding in this position. As we hold in this position, if your core is on, if you are zipped up, that means your booty, everything, the back should not be aggravated. In fact, it should feel like it's strong and stable. And that's what we want from these postures, from this beautiful movement of the bird dog. Okay, so the second movement that we're going to do today is the glute bridge. The principle is the same. We activate the core first. I hear this again on those glute bridges. Oh, it hurts my back. Well, it hurts the back because that core is not activated. So let's make sure the core is activated before we go up into that glute bridge. And let's see if we can make a beautiful difference on any kind of pain or tension in the back. So we start from our back mostly relaxed. We will begin that zip up deep in the sphincter. Inner thighs start to come alive, coming on, the booty hugging those muscles as you just gracefully activate all the way up you can then feel the natural movement and strength and power that your body has to float up into a bridge. Once you're up into this bridge, you might feel your quadriceps feeling a nice stretch, but you should not feel the belt line at the back in any kind of pain, because you're really stabilizing from this deep pelvic floor and the core. That's the movement. Very, very simple. Now we can have it be static, which we're holding, right? So nothing would turn off. You want to make sure your core's on, the booty's on. What is the core again? Inner thigh, outer thigh, booty, deep pelvic floor, transverse abdominals, all the way up to the sternum, all the way in alignment. So this is a static hold bridge. And then we can make this active. The thing about making it active is if you just push up and down like this in an active bridge, it's real easy to lose that core strength, the core activation. So what I'd like you to do as you practice this is reset each time so that you are beginning with the correct activation and you are going into the bridge. It will make all the difference in the world. And in doing it, you will actually feel the strength of your glutes and your abs combine together with the rest of your body instead of feeling just one joint constantly being aggravated. And often that's the back or the knees for folks when they do these glute bridges. And there are a lot of progressions we can do, arm extensions, we can do other things. But for right now, just keep this a beautiful, very focused, active bridge, slow. We don't need to be fast on this. I just want to point out two things. When I have a client go up into a bridge, I will test to see if they are stable from one side to the other. So I'll come up to the side of them and push. Now, if they fall over, that tells me that their obliques are not active. So we work on getting both sides active. So we're going up and down, and it's pretty easy to tell your booty's working. You've got good, strong core happening here. But is the side working too? So you can just check this. Is the side active? Is your oblique active? And if it's not, let's work on that as well. We'll begin wanting to get that connection when we do our side planks. But the medial part of the body should always be part of this as well. So we want to make sure that that's active. Now, if you go up into the bridge and you feel a pinch or a twinge in your back, that is communication. Your body's telling you, hey, your core's not active. So think of that and these cues that the body will give you as information, learning how to use your body correctly instead of being afraid. Like when your wrists are talking to you, that should tell you something. Oh, well, my wrists are working extra hard. Really, do they need to be doing that? Not so much. If our core is doing its job, if the deep pelvic, all of this good core is doing its job, you won't have those wrist issues, you won't have the back issues. And I'm telling you this from personal experience because I had years of that as a problem until I fully understood my core activation. Now I'm going to share with you 5 things that I would do to change in my lifestyle and eating to help with our core. The first is I would eliminate anything that I would put on my skin that has fragrance, artificial colors, because our skin is the biggest organ in our body and it's soaking everything up. So if you would not eat the lotion or something that you're putting on your skin, do not put it on your skin. Eliminate the fragrances. That, along with the toxins in these lotions and the things that we put on our body, they are going into our skin, into our system, and our body has to process them. If it cannot process them, it stores them in our fat tissues. And a lot of it ends up at our visceral, around our waist. And this visceral fat, that's a layer of the skin around that we feel puffy around here, that is often from additional toxins we're taking in from fragrance, from water. So I would get a very good water filter, definitely for the drinking water and whatever you use your water for in the kitchen, but also your shower. Your pores are open when you have a hot shower going on, so you're getting all of that, the chemicals in the water. So I'd have a very good water filter for the shower as well as for the kitchen. The other things that I would do is I would avoid or eliminate altogether all the vegetable oils. These are the canolas, the corns, the soys, the peanuts. We know that that causes inflammation. All of this, the fat around the midsection, inflammation, vegetable oils is a big one that we want to get rid of. The second in terms of food is that I would eliminate all the whites, the white flours, the processed flours, even processed potatoes. There's a lot of processed whites that are not great for our system. And again, then our body has to try and figure out what to do with it. Oftentimes it stores it as fat. The third is the white sugars. So I would just get rid of the processed sugars. And that's going to take all of the processed foods. So if we can just remove the processed foods, processed packaged foods, you're going to notice a very big difference in the inflammation, especially the midsection reducing. Most likely there's also an intolerance or some kind of a reaction going on in the system if you find yourself constantly bloated. So be really mindful of that. If you feel bloated after you eat, if you feel swollen or puffy, that is a good indication that you have an intolerance or perhaps even have an allergy to it. So that is what I would do. I would also just say, in terms of eating whole food and now proteins, especially with meat protein, be very mindful that you are getting clean protein, grass-fed, wild-caught, nothing that has been farm-raised. You're going to see a lot of hormones added and antibiotics added, and that just goes straight into our system. Again, our system then has to deal with that, and that is why I often will see a lot of folks with big bloated bellies. Okay, I hope that helps. I will see you in day 4. Be sure to practice your bird dogs and your bridges after you have activated your core, doing your drawing up maneuver, your posture, and then do the 2 new exercises, the bird dog and the glute bridge. Aiming for at least 8, go 8 to 10 on those, and let me know how it goes. I'll see you tomorrow in day 4.